Hi guys, Andy here. Today we're looking at Over the Hills and Far Away by Led Zeppelin. Normally known for their classic rock riffs, however this is another beautiful acoustic guitar riff. It's pretty much the first riff that I always play when I pick up an acoustic guitar. It's a great warm-up song, based on a G chord and a D chord, so basic open chords, standard tuning, and all about the hammer-ons and flick-offs that we do. So if you're not used to hammer-ons and flick-offs, then this is going to be a real workout for you, but it's a great one to understand what they're all about. So what you want to do is a little bit of a warm-up. We've got a little, the position that we set up with our hands is 2nd fret on the 3rd string and 3rd finger on the 4th fret of that same string. You can also do that same thing on the D string, and first of all the hammer-ons are normally the easiest ones. So if we pick the open D, you can hammer on at the 2nd fret, hammer on again at the 4th fret, and the idea is that you want it to sound like you've picked it but you haven't picked it, so that we can do it faster. So that's open string, 1st finger hammering on 2nd fret, 3rd finger at the 4th fret. Same thing on the 3rd string. Same thing again. And then we can also do the same thing with flick-offs as well. But with flick-offs, the important thing to remember is when we've got 3 flick-offs in a row, you want to have, it's normally your 1st finger that would be down at this point, and your 1st finger wants to stay down the whole time. So even when you're pressing down for the 3rd string to be heard, you need to flick off with that 1st finger already down at the same time. Happens a couple of times for the D part. So that's really crucial. And again, you can just try and get those sounding really solid before you have a go at this specific riff. But the riff would go. So we got an open G, hammer on at the 2nd fret with your 1st finger on the 3rd string, flick off, hammer on at 4th fret with your 3rd finger on the D, open D, pick the open G, and then strum your G chord. So here we kind of have lead guitar and then rhythm guitar, one then the other, which if you're new at trying to get little lead lines as you're playing, is a really great thing to do. Pick, hammer, flick off, hammer on. See, even though that's on a different string, if your hammer on is strong enough there, you don't need to pick it again. The only one you'd have to pick after the first one is the open G string again, and then strum a G chord. We're filling in some of the timing on that G chord once you're doing it, so when you're a little up to speed after you've got this down, down, up, down is the strumming pattern I'm using there. And then the second one, before we go to the D chord, is really similar, but it just has a different ending, the ending we looked at briefly a second ago. Hammer on, or you could pick that one actually, and then flick off, flick off. So I'm going pick, hammer, same as before. Pick the open string, pick your 3rd finger, flick off, flick off, open D string, yeah, and then we're on an open D chord, and it repeats those two for a little while. The timing's strange if you do it specific to the record, but just to get a feel of it and play it along to the record, that will do plenty. So from the very top of the song, we start off with the open G, G chord, D chord, and then there's a beautiful little riff which is more reminiscent of some bluesy things. Open A string, second fret on that A string, little rolling technique down to second fret on the A string, open D string, sorry, open D string, same fret again. Just let me talk you through that one more time. So open 2 on the A, 2 open on the 4th string, and then you're back to your G chord again. So this is, let me talk you through from the top. So after it's gone through the riff twice, then you add that riff in. Normal riff to get to your D, and then a shorter one, straight to a C chord, a C9 or the Noel Gallagher way of doing it again. First finger upper string, middle finger comes off, first finger down again to give you a B flat bass notes, and then you could go to a C chord, or I just prefer to slide it up there. It's still a C chord, but it sounds great, or a normal C chord there, and then you're back to your opening riff. Really wonderful, wonderful song. Right at the end of the introduction, or the instrumental part, there's another riff, which is just before it kicks into the electric guitar bit, and that starts off on a G chord, open 5th string, 2nd fret, open, 2 open on the D string, strum a D. So really reminiscent of the other riff that we did earlier, kind of the second big riff. But this one, the last one before it kind of kicks into the rest of the song. Really great. And then the electric guitar bit's just open chords. D chord, we start with A to a D chord, and then D, A, G, D, A, G. Kind of standard if you've done a few Led Zeppelin or AC/DC songs before, but all the other bits absolutely wonderful. That riff again. Absolutely beautiful. Check out my website if you want full tabs for the whole intro in order, just so you can work through it and enjoy your song.